Hey people, what is going on? I am The Broken Puppet and I'm back with another drawing tutorial for you today. And we're doing a cancer crab and it's going to be really old school, kind of traditional kind of style. It's going to be really fun, really cool and really bold. It's going to be done on your iPad Pro in Procreate's the app. I just got a set page set up. It's going to be A4 size, 300 DPI. If you're not on paper, don't worry about that. It's not information you need to know if you're on paper. I'm going to be doing a symmetric, so it's going to be drawn on both sides. The way you do this on here, just real simple, just click up on this little icon up here, click on the drawing guide so it's turned on, click edit drawing guides and click the symmetry button just down the bottom. And then once you've done that, it basically just draw on both sides for you. It's really that simple. It just makes it easier and quicker. Obviously you're doing it on paper, don't worry about it, just draw both sides. So here we go. I'm going to start off with this sort of triangular shape like this. This is going to be the base for the body. I'm going to bring up another sort of shape, just coming off here, folding it out around there. So you've got this nice kind of sort of shape for the body. Can do a little loop just around the bottom, just kind of bottom part of him. And just up here, I'm going to do 2 circles for the eyes. Come to the centre, I'm going to create a little dip just here. And I'm going to have this sort of shape in the middle. So it's going to be almost like kind of like little horns. It's going to curve up, curve down, and just tip down. And it's just going to fit in that gap just there. I'm going to come down here and just on the sides, I'm going to do 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle, 4 circle. You're going to have 4 legs on this side and you're going to have these big claws coming out around the front. Each leg is going to be pretty much comprised of like this sort of shape. So I'm going to curve up here, down and back. So it's this kind of sort of loopy shape, almost kind of sort of triangular, just nice kind of curved edges. You know, you can make it a bit more sort of curved than that if you want. And then at the end of it, just a little loop, like a little circle. And to come down, create another loop. Kind of bent up into it, another little circular loop, and it goes into the end of the claw. So I'm going to come back to a bit of a point and curve back. So you've got that for the bottom one. I'm going to do the same sort of thing for the rest of these ones. So I'm going to curve outwards, just create a nice fun shape, little circle, create your shape like so. I like to make sure that each kind of claw at the end finishes at a different level. So you see the height of this one's here, the height of this one is going to be around there. This one's going to come out, and once you get to this one, I'm going to do this third one coming down, and the fourth one's going to go upwards. So it's creating a rough shape, and a circle. This one's curving out, and that one curved there. Maybe that one curving a little bit more, just so they're all kind of sort of pointing rough different directions, which I like. And come to the other side now, so I'm going to draw outwards. This one's going to be a bit more kind of muscular as we go further outwards, so I'm going to get slightly bit wider just for this one. Circle just there. Make this one a bit more kind of stocky. Another little curve just there. Now this one's going to come from the front. This is going to be the big claw. So this one's going to be the most chunky. So I'm going to create a curve up, curve it inwards, curve down like so. Just on top of that, get a nice circle. Create another sort of big chunky part for the upper part of the arm. I'm going to add a big circle in the middle of this bit, just here, just over the top. And I'm going to create the claw. So the claw's going to come up. I'm going to create this little loop coming down. And curve that back into that sort of shape. And then the top claw is going to curve over. Come back and loop back into it like so. So you've got the basic kind of build up for the body now. So we've got the body, we've got the claws around the outside. So now we've got it done, I'm going to come to the centre part of the body now and just make it more fun and more decorative. Now this is what kind of makes it really kind of cool and more kind of old school. So where you've got this original sort of triangle shape, we're going to curve this up. And once it's going to get, I'm going to dip in a little bit and I'm going to curve this outwards to the top. I'm going to create this nice, almost kind of emblem kind of sort of shape in the middle. And I'm going to have the cancer symbol in the middle of that. So another line just there, kind of repeating itself. And this one's going to curve down and create a nice little dip. Just in that centre part, just there. Once you've got that, I'm going to create these 2 kind of curves here. Kind of make it almost like a circular shape in this kind of area, just there. Inside here, I'm going to get an old school kind of S kind of curve. Just a bit of decoration in there. The 69 is going to go in the side part here, so I was going to sketch in 2 little lines like this, circle the side. Ignore one side of it, because obviously we'll turn off the Symmetry Tool and get it so it's just one side. So ignore this circle and ignore that one. But yeah, we're going to have the cancer symbol in there. On the outside, so around this bottom part here, we're going to create this curve outwards. Make this a bit more kind of bumpy so it's not perfectly straight. bring that line coming down from the top, coming around like so. And then off the side here in this gap, we're going to create these curves. I'm going to curve off of each one, just coming down, and fitting in that gap until we kind of run out of space. And then I'm going to put another little circle just on the inside of each one of those. Just like that. Another little line just on the inside part of there. And just coming up from this bit here, we're going to create this curve that's going to kind of come up. And it's going to touch that centre part of the face just there. Off this, do a few little curved lines, just like so. And that's the basic body for the crab. You know, I think it's got a really nice kind of flow to it. I really like how that looks. So I'm just going to get that in view so I can see everything nice and clearly. I'm going to go up now. I'm going to go to the top one. So I'm going to start with the line work and then do shading and colour. It's just that kind of order you want to do things. It just makes everything nice and easier to do. So I'm going to select my colour. I'm going to go black. I'm going to click on the pens. I'm going to go calligraphy. And I'm going to use monoline. I really like this one. It just gives a nice even line. You've probably seen me do this before if you would follow my tutorials. It's my favourite kind of pen to use. And I'm going to click on the line work. And just come down to here where it's got draw and assist. I'm just going to click draw and assist on. I'm going to do this for all of these just for now. And basically it's going to do the symmetry tool now on all those. So it's going to draw both sides at the same time. Just an easy quick shortcut doing that. So now I've got that, I'm going to go over everything we've just done. Make a nice line work, nice and bold. Get that to about the right size. So I'm going to set this one to about 20. So see on percentage, got about 20. So that's about the width of the calligraphy pen. It's unedited, so it's the exact same one you guys have as well. And yeah, just pretty much go over everything we've just done. Except for a few lines which we'll do a little bit thinner. So it's got to go over there and just get nice and neat. Get the edge around that. Get that one up to a point. Feel free to spin your design around to kind of get it comfortable where you kind of sort of draw a nice line. That's if you're doing it as paper as well, you know, just always, you know, don't be worried about flipping the paper around, you know, if there's a certain angle you find more comfortable, like if you feel like doing this motion is more comfortable than that motion, then just flip the paper around so you get that kind of motion. Just makes life a lot easier. You know, everyone's got a certain motion which is just more comfortable or more suited to their hand motion. Like me, I find this curve, like this motion a lot easier than inside curve. If you're right-handed, you might find the opposite way around sometimes. Now, not always the case, but I just know a few people who are right-handed and they sort of prefer going the other way to me. Doesn't make too much difference though. It's all the same thing in the end. Draw a new circle. So if you draw and hold on Procreate, it kind of sort of like neatens out your edges a little bit. Just an easy shortcut if you want to get like perfect circles. So you've got those circles in there for the legs. And come down now, it's going to get these kind of areas. So we're going to curve this just like that. Get a nice kind of smooth motion to it. You know, it is a crab, so I don't want these to be like perfectly kind of like this. You know, that's just too smooth for me. I don't want that. You know, crabs, I'm going to create a few kind of wiggly lines in here. You know, not kind of like ugly wiggly lines, if you know what I mean. Just nice, smooth. Little dent just here and there. It really adds to it and just kind of makes it what it is. Let's get that there and just keep building these up one by one. I love doing these designs. I don't know, something about drawing crabs, you know, especially old school style, it's just like, it's not really done enough, but they just work so well. I think it's like one of my favourite things doing old school style. Especially because they're so easy to kind of modify as well. You know, different kind of pattern works, different kind of body shapes. You can really get creative, especially with the pattern work in it. So just keep building them up. Like so. Remember this top one here, you know, with the main claw is going to be a bit more chunky. You know, that's his kind of muscle arm, so we're going to have to be a bit stronger. I'm going to draw the circle in here and I'm going to tap down, because I want like a nice perfect circle just in the inside part here. Another circle just on the inside of that. I do. And then the claw. So I'm going to bring this up and I'm going to get this real kind of wiggly line. Coming down, just kind of show like the rough edge of his claw.
Make it a little bit different and uneven as well. Start with that little antler bit I told you in the middle. You get that eye, going to move it over just a fraction. Just so I've got a bit more room for that centre piece. For the bottom of the eye, it's going to create these two curves coming down to connect to it. It's going to create the secondary curve just here. I'm going to create these two little antenna bits just coming out. And another little curve just over the top. So now we've got that done. That's the main outline done with the thicker liner. So now I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to go right to the bottom, so it's about 1%. You know, much thinner line. And I'm just going to come back in and just do certain areas, just like in here. On these parts. It's just pretty much little detail areas you kind of want to show off a little bit differently. You know, you don't have to do this. You could do it all the same thickness if you want. You know, old school does kind of allow that. And you don't use too many different kind of line whips. That sort of takes away from what old school is. But a couple of different line weights. You know, I'd say 2, 3 at the very max. Don't want to go no more different sort of line weights than that in old school. Does the trick. So we've got that. I want to get this nice S curve here. It's just a real simple like, little pattern. It goes in there, just kind of fills in that area. And once I've got that done, I'm going to turn this up quite high. And I want to get these little dots in here. I'm going to space them out about even sort of space apart. Just going all the way around. Also, when you go, try to get like one in the centre a little bit. So I quite like it when there's one in the centre. So maybe sort of start with that centre one if you sort of struggle to do that. I'm going to click up here. I'm going to click on. Also, I've got down the colour. Where have I got down the colour? Right. The turn the colour one's the line weight. We're going to switch that around. So the line weight's going to be the colour. I just obviously clicked on the wrong layer with that one. Yeah. No worries, just click on it, click out Draw and Assist now, because we want to get this nice and bold. We're going to basically do the cancer sign now, and obviously this isn't symmetric, so oops. Going to draw in a perfect circle here. Once you've got a perfect circle, we're going to bring this curve over to connect to that. Just to get this nice and perfect matching, so I want to get this exact same. I'm just going to select this, copy, paste, just rotate it around, get that one there. Just makes it nice and perfectly symmetric. Obviously doing on paper you can't do that little shortcut, but it's a handy little shortcut when you're doing on here. So now we've got all that done, that's pretty much all our line work done. You can turn off the sketching layer now. So that's what you're left with. You're left with a really cool, nice line work. And once you've got this, we can go into sort of shading it. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to click on the shading layer. So we've got that. So I'm going to click up here, I'm going to go to spray paint tool. So my favourite one to sort of use for doing the shading. You can use whichever one you want, you know, but I just like this. It's just got like a nice kind of sort of shadow to it. You know, a lot of people like to use the airbrush. There's nothing wrong with the airbrush. I do like the airbrush. I just find sometimes it's a little bit too smooth for my liking. So click on here, just where you got your line work, click on that, click reference, and now when you're in your shading, just makes it so when you use the selection tool, which is this little button just up here, you click this, come back to where it was, and you've got automatic just down the bottom, just select that, and then when you click, it's going to basically click just inside of each shape, and it means you can just shade in those areas. So when I have to click on these now, and I go to the shading, I can just draw in those areas. So I'm going to go on here. And basically for each one of these, I'm going to shrink this down just a touch on the shading. I'm going to curve around the edge like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down towards that edge. So I'm creating that kind of curve. I'm going to do it on most of these. There will be a few exceptions on a couple of these little segments, but for most of these I want to get that kind of curve to it. Yeah, it just kind of gives it a really nice old school effect, which I really, really want to go for. I'm just going to do these one by one. Well, 2 by 2 because I've got the Symmetry Tool on. And just keep going through these. Oops. And you'll love it in the end. The effect in the end is just amazing. I love how it looks. I mean, it gets to the stage where you kind of look at it afterwards and this kind of looks really good in black and grey. It doesn't necessarily need colour, but the colour does really bring it to life as well. So I'll definitely be adding colour. But I do love my colour, you know. If you're familiar with my work, you know how much I love my colour. I do black and grey as well, but I've got a big passion for colour stuff. So you see on this side I kind of sort of rotate around the other way now because it's on the upper arms. And when you got this one I'm going to sort of switch up and it's going to be on the bottom side. Same with these two, it's going to be on the bottom side. And then the claw, I'm going to go around that circle bit we've done there. And then around the bottom of the claw, just there. The top claw, opposite way around, so we're going to go across the top edge. Kind of curve into it there. These two circles in the middle I'm going to black out. This bottom bit just there at the bottom, I'm going to black that out. Oh, missing one claw segment. Can't be forgetting that. Curve that in there. And then we come to the rest of the bits we kind of need to do. So I'm going to select this part just in here. I'm going to have black fading down, like so. And then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to black fade just out of touch. Leave a little highlight just in there, just makes it a bit more kind of fun. I'm going to select these parts here. And these parts I'm basically going to have a little bit of black, just kind of curving across the top towards the inside. Just like so. Just like so. Just like so. And these ones, when they get really small, I'm not going to go too far, I'm just going to put a little bit of shadow just so it's got a hint of it. These two inside parts here, I'm going to go black on the top, black on the bottom. And I want to get a bit of black just around this kind of face part, so I'm going to black in these segments just here. Black in those pupils in the eyes. I'm going to select this part just here. I'm going to go black across the edges, and a little centre bit just there. And a little crown antenna. Just a little bit on the side, just there. And I think that'll do it for the black for me. You know, it's got quite a fair bit of black in there. Black is really important when it comes to old school stuff. You want to make sure you add it. I'm going to go to calligraphy now. I'm going to shrink this down. Just a few little details I just forgot to do, which I'm going to add in now. I'm going to get this little kind of hair texture just on the bottom part here. So I'm going to pick in these little lines across the bottom of these. So just flicking these little lines across. You ain't got to do this, I just really like this effect. I just think it looks really cool. And I feel like it makes the claws feel a little bit more kind of sort of shell-like. Because when you're adding a different kind of texture to it, it kind of amplifies the other textures. So just keep flicking them in on the bottom part. When it gets around this side, I'm going to flick it around the other way and just do it across the top parts. And then on the inside part, just here. Nothing too crazy. Like so. Just gives like a really nice kind of edge to it, which I personally really like. So now I'm going to go down to what would be the colouring if we had it on the right one. Remember, we done the line work on the colour one by accident. So just click on the line work, which is going to be our colour. Ignore the confusion, please. And I'm going to start off with the colours I know I definitely want. So I'm going to start off with yellow, because I know which ones I want yellow for this. So I'm going to select this part to be yellow. I want these bits here to be yellow. I'm going to have a fair bit of yellow in this. And I might throw a little camera on the edges. All these little circle bits on the legs are going to be yellow. This bit around here, the eye is going to have a bit of yellow coming from the bottom. I'm going to fade that out low so it's a bit different from the rest. this bottom part just here and just there. And I might have it on those antennas as well. So if I can select those, there we go. So yeah, so we're just going to go yellow over all of those, except for the eye bit, like I said. I just want a bit yellow across the bottom. So shrink that down a touch. So colouring half the eye yellow. It's just a nice cool effect, which I quite like to do. I'm going to select this kind of sort of blue tone now. It's kind of like a grey kind of blue. I want it to show off certain areas, so I'm going to select it on here. I'm going to do it on this antenna bit. I think I'm going to do it in this kind of claw bit here as well. And maybe a touch on that back. So just make that a tiny bit bigger. So a bit just there kind of fading downwards. A little bit in that crown, just come off the edges. In these claws, I'm basically going to kind of go just a bit further from the black. I still want to leave a little white edge. I don't want to go completely over the white edge. You know, the white edge just really kind of makes it nice. I might put this in the tip of the claws as well, just to make these a bit different from the other ones that we're going to do. So again, you're just kind of going just a little bit past the black. And once we've got that done, I'm going to come in, I'm going to select this like nice kind of deep red. I'm going to use that on all these kind of claw segments just here. So I'm going to use this nice sort of dark deepish red. Go for this one, I think. So it's almost like a brown, just like a nice deep reddish brown. And a nice kind of rich colour is what you want. No, you don't want kind of like an earthly kind of brown for it. I don't think that'll quite get the right kind of effect. I mean, it might do, but I just prefer this. And again, I'm just going to go over all that kind of black, just a little bit further than what the black was. Just like so. I'm going to go over a little bit of this one with this. I'm going to come to about here. Just like there, I'd say. Touch it a little bit further. And then the tip of the claw, I'm going to do yellow. Just to kind of switch it up, make that a bit more interesting. I like that. Looking at it, I might make these. Actually, I'm going to leave those kind of white. I like those white, actually. Change my mind. And then I'm going to come in my reds. The red's going to be a very kind of sort of dominant colour in this. So I'm going to have it in the crab and run the outside as well. You'll see what I mean when we do that bit. So I'm going to select the areas I want red to begin with. A nice big bold strong red. Like so. I really like that. And then I'm going to get my eraser. I'm going to go calligraphy pen. I'm going to set this to max. And basically what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to draw around this cancer symbol. Oops. Turn off draw and assist. So I basically just want to get this nice highlight around that cancer symbol. Just like that. And then go back to the reds. I'm going to use the calligraphy. I basically just want to get a red circle on the inside of this now. So just basically just using like negative space to kind of like make it interesting. Just like that. I think that looks really cool. Don't mind me bigging myself up over it. It looks really cool. I'm sorry, when I talk to myself, you know, like, you know, if I like something, I sort of tell myself I like it. If I don't like it, I tell myself. I just kind of got in the habit of doing it. Just turn on draw and assist again. I'm going to get red, and I want this in the background. So I'm going to go really strong, just around the crab to begin with. So just around this little bit, just here. So pretty much kind of doing an oval in the background of him, and shrink it down just a touch. I want some red coming in from inside the claws, just there. Go a little bit higher, just around those eyes. And I think that'll do it, people. I really like how that looks. Got a nice, cool cancer crab there. Yeah, I think I'll call that out. I like that. So yeah, there you go, people. That is how you draw a cancer crab. Old school style. You know, if you like it, I can do a sort of Japanese and neo-trad version as well. Could always be fun. You know, I love doing these kind of things, so I'm always happy to do those. Make sure you leave a like and a comment. It really helps these videos out, and I really, really do appreciate it. But for now, people, I'm The Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace.